Yo, what is up guys? It's Izzy and welcome back to the channel. Sorry for the lack of uploads for the past 2 weeks. I was busy with life, handling some business. But we back. Anyways, I wanted to talk about something that's actually kind of crazy. Well, if you haven't heard in the news, UMG, which is Universal Music Group, is a big ass corporation that owns a bunch of music labels. And from what I understand, they basically give the money to the labels to give to the artists so that the artists can make, their music videos, make their music, advertising and shit like that. So UMG and TikTok couldn't really come to like a contractual agreement, which, basically TikTok pays their royalty fee or a certain amount of money to license the music that UMG puts out from their labels. And their labels include big ass artists such as Drake, Playboi Carti, Taylor Swift, all your fucking favorites. Why that's such a big deal for TikTok? Because now all the fans from those artists are switching to Reels, Shorts, and any other platform that basically they can make content for that's still licensed with UMG. The reason that this is such a big deal for TikTok is because they can't keep the music from the TikToks that have already been made. So millions and millions of TikToks that were made using UMG's artists' music have now been silenced. So you go click on the song and nothing. You can't even use it, you can't even hear it. This is really big trouble for TikTok because not only are the huge ass TikTokers going, but all the Swifties, all the Drake heads, all the Playboi Carti fans, basically all the fans from the artists that are no longer available on TikTok are moving to these other platforms. So we can potentially see TikTok losing millions upon millions of followers, which is not fucking good. And it doesn't only suck from a fan's perspective, but you also got to think about the artists. And I'm not talking about like the huge artists. I'm talking about like the smaller ones, artists that depend on TikTok for their music to blow up, depend on the algorithm to luckily push their music forward, and they can make a name for themselves. Now I see this as a good thing and a bad thing, because yes, artists are not going to be able to blow up as much. Not saying that they can't blow up on Instagram and shit like that, but it is way like comparing the same video from TikTok and Instagram. TikTok usually gets way more views, way more plays, way more reposts, shit like that. The only reason I see this as kind of a good thing is one, artists are going to be able to get more royalties from TikTok and maybe even potentially Universal Music Group themselves. But this will change the TikTokification of music recently. I know I mentioned it in my 30 Seconds to Mars video, which you can watch right here. But anyways, like I was saying in that video, basically TikTok has fucked songs. Because now songs are 2 minutes to 3 minutes, way shorter than they were. Probably even less. Like I was saying, the only reason I see this as a good thing is because maybe artists will, I don't want to say try a little harder, but try a little harder to fucking make better music. It's just chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. Most of these songs are just trying to hop on a trend, hop on a wave, trying to find that catchy hook, catchy verse, which is not inherently a bad thing, but I feel like it's decreased the quality of music we've been getting over the years. Nowadays, artists shove like 20 songs into an album, hoping one of them will be catchy and one of them will hit the TikTok algorithm, instead of, trying a little bit harder, making not as many songs, but putting more time and effort into the songs that they're making, and, make a more coherent album instead of just pushing out tracks for views and listens and shit. Which, like I said, isn't inherently wrong, because, the more views and shit you have, the more money you can make to the shit that you actually want to do. But, it's just better for everybody, in my opinion. So after reading the statements that TikTok and UMG both put out, they're both kind of bullshit. Like, they're both blaming each other for one being greedy over the other, which they both say in their statements. But I guess UMG, because it's longer, they have like a more valid reason to why they couldn't come to an agreement. Basically, UMG is saying that TikTok is being greedy and they're asking way more for their last deal, with, UMG getting less benefits. UMG does say in their statement that TikTok is about 1% of the revenue, but I don't really believe that. Because yes, maybe the revenue that they get straight from TikTok may be 1%. But you gotta think about the millions of views, the millions of trends, the millions of streams that TikTok has generated for UMG in general. So it's not just the profits that they're getting from TikTok, it's also widespread that TikTok has for their artists. Let me get a refresher and see what else I said. So another reason as to why UMG stated, they didn't make any contracts with TikTok, as of right now at least, is because of all the AI songs and images and hate speech that is on TikTok. But I kind of find that bullshit because you can find that in any platform, and Twitter is probably the worst case of that. Honestly, when it comes to AI music, I don't really view it as something too bad. Like, if it's just a TikTok of Plankton singing a 30 Seconds to Mars song, like, I'm not gonna be upset about that. You get me? Because, you know, it's just for parody and it's just for fun. But, you know, if it's people making entire songs using Drake's voice or Taylor Swift's voice or something like that, you know, I'm pretty against that. Unless they're not making a profit off of it and it's just for fun. But most of the time, that's not the case. Now, do I really feel bad for TikTok? Do I really think they're gonna go under? Not really. I think they'll eventually come to an agreement because of the amount of fans and artists that UMG has generated in general. So I think eventually they'll come to an agreement. I feel more bad for the artists that are getting kind of fucked over in this situation. Like I said, not really the bigger ones, but, you know, the smaller ones that are signed to all the labels that UMG own. Now, do I think it's a good thing that if TikTok does go under and all these TikTok users go to these other platforms? Not necessarily, because if you think about it, that'll just be another platform that you can't post your shit on and have a less likely chance of blowing up. You get me? Now, another reason why I think this will be a fairly interesting move if TikTok doesn't end up coming to an agreement with UMG is how marketing would work. Like, yeah, you can still post all that marketing that you do for TikTok on Instagram and Shorts, but I think TikTok has more users in general, especially for the younger generation. So I guess time will tell, and we'll see how advertising and shit would change up. Another thing that I've been seeing online is that people should just use like the slowed up or chopped and screwed versions of like the songs that they really want to use, but at the end of the day, who really wants to use that? Another reason why this is a problem has to do more with like the content creator side, because just think about it. If I'm a person that uses songs for like all my videos, basically half of them, if not all of them, are now fucked. They're not going to pop up on the explore page. They're not going to get the amount of views that they usually get. And even if it does, who wants to watch a muted video anyways? But, you know, let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section below. And, you know, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. And, you know, I haven't really mentioned it in my other videos, but so I do usually try to post Fridays or Saturdays, you know, depending on how much time I have during the week. Next video will be a little different. It might be a gaming video, but I guess we'll see. Anyways, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.